Hey, and hello and welcome to What's Cooking. Today we are going to be making broccoli and paneer masala, coconut mung bean dhal, and we'll have a side of basmati rice and some nice cooling yogurt. This is where we're going to show people who are not familiar with Indian cooking and maybe intimidated by it, but it's the healthiest food you can eat. We've got all great spices and herbs to use. So I want to show people who are maybe a little bit hesitant about cooking Indian food that it can be done easily and quickly. We're going to make a full meal in under 1 hour, and it's going to be very healthy and easy for you to make. There are a few preparations for this particular meal that you're going to have to do beforehand. The mung beans are little hard legumes that will need to be soaked overnight, and then in the morning when you get up, just cook them a little bit. You could cook them in a pressure cooker for about 12 whistles, or in just a pot with a lot of water, and just cook them until they're just a little bit soft, because they're very hard little beans, and we want to have them soft. They should be looking like this. So that's a little bit of pre-prep that you're going to have to do. Other than that, everything else will take under an hour, and we'll have a full meal, and it will be healthy, and it will be tasteful, and it will be it's a pure veg, meaning we don't use onion and garlic. And let's get started. Okay, the first thing I like to do is get my veggies ready. Veggies and any kind of herbs or spices that I need to prepare. I like to get those all ready first. So we're going to chop our broccoli. We're going to peel and grate the ginger. And we've got some tomatoes we're going to chop up too. So the first thing we're going to do is take care of getting our veggies ready, get everything lined up. So when we start cooking, everything will be set aside and ready to go. We're going to start right off by peeling the ginger. That's probably one of the worst things, the worst task I think is peeling ginger. And actually, frankly, I'm quite happy I don't use garlic and onions, because that used to be the worst task. Grate our ginger. If you prefer, you can chop it very finely. If you don't have a grate, you can chop it. Maybe 2 tablespoons of ginger. We want to end up with about 2 tablespoons, maybe 1.5. Select our ginger, put it aside. So that's ready. Here's our ginger. And we're going to chop our tomatoes. We need tomatoes for the broccoli and paneer requires 2 tomatoes, and for the dal we're going to use 1 tomato. So we're going to just chop them all up. Coarsely chopping them. Wash everything before you use it. This one. Just like that. Okay, and this will be for our dal. So we have 2 chopped tomatoes for the broccoli and 1 for the dal. Now let's chop up the broccoli into bite-sized pieces. Have that ready. When I first came here, you couldn't buy broccoli, except maybe in the big cities you could get it, but out here in the villages, there was no broccoli. This is pretty new addition. So there's not a lot of Indian recipes that use broccoli. In fact, this is the recipe that we're making up right now is really just a made-up recipe. It's with Indian herbs, with all the Indian spices, but it's not it's not a traditional Indian recipe. But it does taste like a traditional Indian recipe and has all the spices for a traditional Indian recipe, but broccoli is not anything that's traditionally used in Indian cooking. Just make nice bite-sized pieces, so you're going to end up with something like this. First thing we want to do is start a little pot of water here, a little pot of salted water, because we're going to have to blanch the broccoli before we use it. We're going to cook the broccoli just a little bit before we use it. So let's get some water started, and then let's cut up the vegetables. After we have the vegetables chopped up, and while we're waiting for the water to come to boil, let's go ahead and make up some tamarind paste. I bought this tamarind concentrate. You can use this, you can use fresh tamarind pods. I have the recipe on our blog, on our website. You can check out how to make your own tamarind paste, but for today we're just going to use this concentrated tamarind paste that you can probably buy pretty much anywhere. Just take we want about 2 teaspoons, just about like that much, 2 teaspoons. And this is quite strong, so I'm going to mix about 2 teaspoons of honey with it as well, just to soften the flavor a little bit. So we're going to just add a little bit of honey, and it looks like it's time to buy more honey, about 2 teaspoons of honey, and mix that up there. All these the recipes for these 4 items can be found in the link below. In the description, you'll be able to go ahead and click on a link that will take you to our blog site that has all the recipes. You can even download a shopping list and all the instructions on how to make this complete meal for yourself, for 2. When your water comes to a boil, go ahead and take the chopped broccoli and pour that in so we can blanch that broccoli just a little bit, just to take the rawness off of it, the edge off of it, and let it cook for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Let it cook. And meanwhile, while that's cooking, let's prepare the spices. Okay, so for the broccoli and paneer, we're going to start with, we're going to have some curry leaves. We're going to use curry leaves, black mustard seeds, and cumin. There it is. Okay, take these are dried curried leaves. You want to take about that many, about 10. Just kind of crumble them up. Next, we're going to add a teaspoon of black mustard seeds and a teaspoonful of cumin seeds. Put that in there and add about 2 teaspoons of the ginger. Okay. Let me check on this, make sure these are cooking okay. Just want to take some of the rawness out of the broccoli. Okay, so let's pull off our broccoli that we've cooked. Strain this. Put the broccoli aside in some cold water and let it sit. You want it to put cold water over it, and that stops the cooking and preserves the nice green color. So next we'll take a kadai pan. Okay, get our pans ready. This is a small pressure cooker, and this is a small, medium-sized kadai pan. So that's what you want. Let's add a little ghee to both. Always start out with ghee. Love ghee. If you want to go vegan, you can use any kind of oil, and if you want to, if you want this paneer and broccoli to be vegan, you can go ahead and use, instead of paneer, use tofu. So about a tablespoon each ghee in each pan. To the broccoli and masala, broccoli and paneer, I'm going to add the spices that we put. It's got the curry leaves, the black mustard seeds, cumin seeds, and the ginger. I'm just going to add that in there like this. And to the dal, I'm going to add cumin seeds, about a teaspoon. That always seems to do good. Teaspoon of cumin seeds, never hurts. And the ginger, got about 2 teaspoons, maybe not quite 2 teaspoons, almost 2 teaspoons of fresh ginger. And you have the juice left over, pour that in there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the heat on this, turn it down medium. Cook this until the spices and herbs release a nice fragrance. It doesn't take long on medium heat. You can hear the seeds as they start to sizzle in the ghee. The two tomatoes that we chopped, let's add those in there. Stir it, mix it up well, and make sure the heat's fairly low. You don't want it to burn. Keep an eye on it. Turn the heat down a little bit, and then come over and we'll start the dal. So start this up. Same thing. I'm gonna turn that on. Stir to get the spices and herbs releasing their fragrance. I'm gonna, into the dal here, as this is heating up, I'm gonna add some turmeric, about a teaspoon of turmeric. This is this beautiful orange colored rhizome. Turmeric, a little bit of a red pepper. Once the seeds start to sizzle, let's turn and put in the tomatoes. Mix that up. Make sure that is on low heat, and let that cook a little bit. You want the tomatoes in both pans to get soft. Get them soft and mushy, let them break down. We're also going to add a red dried chili into the broccoli and paneer. Forgot to add that, but that can go in now too. Once the tomatoes start reducing in the dal, we're going to add some coriander powder. This is coriander powder. Let's add about a teaspoon of coriander powder into the dal as it's cooking. Stir it up. Looking good, getting mushy. As this is reducing, make sure they stir these up to make sure that they're not burning or sticking to the bottom of the pan. I'm going to add some salt and pepper into the dal. This is pink Himalayan salt, just about maybe half a teaspoon. I'm going to put that into the dal. And fresh ground black pepper, about half a teaspoon. A lot of this cooking is to your taste. If you want it spicier, add more spice, add more chilies. So that's about how much black pepper I'm going to add into the dal. One of my favorite dals. I love this dal. Most Indian meals will have a dal accompanying them. Kind of gives you a lot of protein. So that looks, see how nicely the tomatoes have reduced and they're really soft here in the dal, in the pressure cooker pan. So now I'm going to take the mung beans that we cooked earlier. Put them in. That was a 1/4 cup of mung beans, and they really expand a lot when they soak overnight and you cook them. Mix this up. This over here, the broccoli and paneer paste, tomato paste that we're making, make sure that doesn't burn. To the dal, I'm going to add some coconut milk. Maybe half a cup of coconut milk, half a cup. And half a cup of water. So half a cup coconut milk, half a cup of water. Half a cup of water. Give it a stir. So it should look like this. If you want a little soupier, dal can be made really soupy or really thick. Depends on how you like it. This is going to be pretty thick, so maybe I'm just going to add a little more water. Again, you can adjust that if you'd rather have it thicker or thinner. That's up to you. So this is going to be kind of a medium dal. Give it a stir and let's cover it. And let that go for 4 whistles on medium, low heat. 4 whistles. So now we turn our attention over to this. These tomatoes are getting nice and soft, looking good. We're going to add some more spices to this mixture. A teaspoon of turmeric. Turmeric goes in everything and I just love it. It's very healthy. So turmeric, garam masala. Where is it? There it is. We're going to add about 2 teaspoons of that. You can add more at the end if you want it. A lot of times you add garam masala at the very end, but I like to add it right now. So I just put 1 teaspoon of turmeric and 2 teaspoons of garam masala. And then I'm going to add some coriander powder. Let's add 2 teaspoons of coriander powder. Now we're just mixing to kind of cook those spices that we just put in, last spices that we just added. We're going to cook those. Salt and pepper. So we're going to add about a teaspoon, about half a teaspoon of salt. You can add more if you want. And again, some more fresh cracked pepper, about half a teaspoon. So you're going to get about that much. And let's just put that in there. And it's looking a little dry, so I'm going to add just about maybe a tablespoon of water. Add about a tablespoon of water, just a little bit, just enough to keep it from burning and give it a little bit of a paste. So this is what we have so far. Just kind of a nice spicy paste. Cook it for a minute or 2 just to kind of take the raw edge off the spices that we just added. Turn off the heat and let the paste cool down a little bit, because we're going to grind it up a little and put it into a food processor and grind it into a smooth paste. So I've got a small food grinder here. I'm going to keep the red chili aside because we'll just keep that in the sauce, but I don't want to grind that up. But we'll go ahead and put this all in here. So you're going to have it looking like this. I think we're going to add, I'd like to add a little bit of coconut milk to that just to help it mix better. And we're going to add more coconut milk later, but let's just add about a tablespoon so you can mix this. Just about a tablespoon of coconut milk so the paste will mix. Put this on our food grinder. That's our tomato paste for the base for our masala, our broccoli and paneer masala. Okay, so now we've got a nice smooth paste. Smoother. It's not completely smooth, but there's your paste for your broccoli and paneer curry. Okay, and just set this aside. So we're good. That's all good. That's all ready to go. Okay, after 4 whistles on our pressure cooker, let's remove our dal. It's done, except we have to add we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice and cilantro at the end, but let's just put that aside and let it continue cooking. Don't remove the pan, don't remove the lid. Let it just pressure release on its own. Keep it sitting there. And while we're waiting for that to cool, we're gonna start the rice. Here's our basmati rice. I wanna rinse it 3 times. I rinsed the rice 3 times with some water, and now up to the rice, I'm going to add, this is a 1/2 cup of basmati rice, rinsed. I'm going to add about a couple of teaspoons of ghee, depending on, again, your preference. I like a lot of ghee, some ghee, and about maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And we're going to add a little over a cup of water, about 1 1/4 cups of water once we bring this to the boil. But first, let's add our ghee. Ghee, put that in there. This pink Himalayan salt has vitamins and minerals in it. It's really good for you. I like it. Nice color. And let's start this. We're gonna turn on the heat to medium high, and we're just going to cook. See where as the water is evaporating, we're cooking off the water, the rinse water, and mixing up the salt, mixing the salt and the ghee in with the rice. This also helps to give really nice separate rice. Okay, when it gets to about like that, you've cooked off all the water. Now we're going to add about 1 1/4 cups. And stir the rice, make sure there's no clumps. And as soon as it starts to boil, we're going to cover it and cook undisturbed for about 12 minutes. Okay, it's coming to a boil. You can see the ghee on top. Just give it a little quick stir. Cover. Turn down the heat to really as low as you can make it, as low as you can make it. And then time that for 12 minutes. When the timer goes off, you're just gonna remove the rice, keep the lid on, and just set it aside and let it continue to cook. Now, let's get that paneer and broccoli done. We're almost ready, it's all coming together. I'm gonna take some butter, about maybe a tablespoon of butter. Notice we don't skimp on the fat. So I put it into this pan where we cooked up the tomatoes and spices. I've just put it right back into that pan, same pan, didn't clean it. There's our chili. It's still sitting there waiting to give more flavor. I picked up fresh paneer, so we're gonna be using fresh paneer today. If you don't have fresh paneer, you can buy a store-bought paneer. You can also make paneer out of milk. If you have milk and lemons, you can make paneer. So here's your paneer. Just kind of rinse it off with water and maybe pat it dry. And we're going to cut it into bite-sized chunks. And my favorite are the triangles. So we're going to take as much paneer as we want, probably about, each slice I'm making it about 1/4 inch thick. See that? And then after you've got your stack of paneer, then we're gonna cut it into quarters like this. And then I like the little triangles like this. Turn this heat back on. We're gonna fry up the paneer a little bit. And then we're gonna do the sauce. So let's just fry up the paneer in this. Not too hot. Butter burns easily. And we're gonna take our paneer and let's just fry up our paneer. Just give it a quick fry. Give it a little flavor. You've heated up the paneer a little bit. Just go ahead and remove it. And then let's add the broccoli. I've drained the broccoli. Now I'm going to add that. There we go. So this is the blanched broccoli that we've already cooked. We've already pre-cooked it just a tiny bit to take the bite off of it. Take our paste that we made, the spicy paste with the tomatoes. We're going to add that in. Let's put that on top of the broccoli. About a cup of coconut milk, add that. Give it a stir. If it's too thick, you can add a little more water, you can add a little more coconut cream, and you're just gonna mix it well, and then cover and let it cook for just a little bit, just until the broccoli is almost done just the way you like it. And we are going to prepare our raita. Okay, let's cover it and on low cook. Cover it, turn the heat low, and now we're going to quickly make up the raita, the yogurt, the cooling yogurt sauce that we're going to have on the side. And remember, you can make up your raita masala. This is just a mixture of spices. You can make this. I have a recipe for it on our blog, or you can buy this. It's really just something cooling to have on the side when you have these kind of spicy curry dishes. This is dahi yogurt. It's plain yogurt. Picked it up where I got the paneer this morning. They also will sell the milk and yogurt. Dahi is what they call it in India. And it's a yogurt that has a little more curd to it. It's got a few little chunks in it. It's really good. A lot of really great for your gut bacteria, really healthy. So we're just gonna put there you can see the chunks in it, like that. There you go. That's our yogurt, our dahi. And all we need to do to make this raita is just take a little bit of the raita masala and add about maybe half a teaspoon, like that, into it, like that, and give it a stir like this. Mix it around, and there's your raita. You can add water. Sometimes they add water. In Indian cooking, they will add water to it just to thin it out a little bit. I like it thick, but you can thin it out if you'd like. Make it thinner. That's your raita, all set. Let's check on our broccoli, see how that's going. You can get this sauce as thick as you want. You want to also keep an eye on your broccoli. You want it however you want it. If you want it really crispy broccoli, you can, cook it less. If you want really soft broccoli, you can cook it more. Good health starts in your gut, and it starts with what you put into your gut. Okay, our rice is done. So remove the rice. Don't take the lid off. Keep the lid on. Let it cook a little more. We're just going to remove the rice, put it over here next to the dal. Here's the raita, okay? We're only missing one item, and it's the broccoli and paneer, and that's almost ready. Go ahead and add the paneer that we cooked a little bit, that we pre-cooked. Let's put that in. Mix, chop up some cilantro. Some fresh cilantro. A lot of times in India, a lot of the dishes are served with fresh cilantro, and it's a great herb and adds a unique flavor. Some people love it, some people hate it. I love it. If you hate it, leave it out. I always have my fresh cilantro over here. It's cut off a few pieces. It's already washed and ready to go. We're just going to cut off a couple of stems like this. So we've got some. It's okay if you got those little stems in it, that's all right. If you want to pull them out, you can. Or you can just chop it up really fine. We're going to put this on both the paneer and the dal. Both of them get it. The lemon, you can use this. We are going to put a little squeeze of lemon into the dal, but you can also squeeze it into some water if you'd like to have water. A little bit of lemon. When we're ready to eat, the last thing I'm going to do is put that in there. And this looks wonderful. We're almost done. And how are we doing for time? Oh, way under an hour for sure. You're not even back from the fast food yet, are you? And we're ready to eat. Okay. Last thing I'm going to put into this, we'll turn off the heat. It's ready. Let's add a little bit of dried coconut flakes. We're going to add that. The heat's off. We're adding a little coconut flakes on that. And then we're going to add, don't forget our tamarind and honey. You never add honey to a dish that is cooking. You add honey at the very end. When the heat is turned off, add that. little bit like that. And let's stir it and take a handful, like a tablespoonful of your fresh cilantro leaves, put that in there, and let's mix it up. Our dal, make sure that it's been released. There's our dal, moong dal. I'm going to this, I'm going to add the rest of the cilantro and a squeeze of half a lemon. You can leave that pepper in, or you can take it out. Mix it up. You can see what consistency this is. You can make it thicker. If you want it thicker, go ahead and put it on the stove and just cook off some of the water. So that's ready. And this is ready. And we're done. We're ready to eat. We have broccoli paneer masala curry. We have raita, yogurt, cooling yogurt raita for a side. We have our basmati rice. Let's take a peek at that and see what that looks like, because we want to fluff that up. Every individual rice is separate. And then we have our dal, flavorful dal, all ready. All you need to do is get the spices and you can make it. It's very, very simple. Once you get the spices, don't be intimidated by cooking Indian food. It's such a healthy diet and it's easy. It's easy. Once you get everything all lined up and ready to go, it's easy. Join us for dinner.
Go. Nice job.
Whoa!
Wow, amazing.
Whoa, one more down.
One more down. I don't even remember the name of this. So what's the name of this?
This is a broccoli and paneer. Mung Bean Dhal, coconut Mung Bean Dhal. Raita. And basmati rice.
Rice.
Okay.
Great. Let's dig in.
Thank you. Go.
So is broccoli a traditional vegetable in India?
No. Funny you should ask.
Wow.
It's not. In fact, when I first came to India about 10 years ago, there was no broccoli.
You don't say.
There was no broccoli anywhere. And you could get it in Delhi. You could get it in the big cities in Khan Market if you went to these specialty markets. So there's really no recipes for it. This is this is an Indian recipe with using broccoli. We just substituted cauliflower for broccoli, and it works.
But you know what I noticed? I noticed that in most Indian dishes there's chapatis, but we have not been making chapatis, and that's a very common staple in Indian food for the most part.
Absolutely.
Now, why are we not using chapatis? Is there a reason?
There is a reason. Basically, I am too lazy, and if we wanted to eat in under 1 hour, it would probably be very difficult to make chapatis, because chapatis take a lot of work. I think it keeps women in the kitchen a lot longer than necessary, because chapatis are very labor intensive. However, it is also made with flour. So flour to me is another step removed from the way it was naturally made. I mean, white rice is not necessarily a whole food, but it's a little closer to me, a whole food, than say using flour and making chapatis. But yes, chapatis are very traditional. I don't make them for the reason that I think flour is a more processed food. Flour, they're difficult. They're time consuming, and I just don't want to take the time to make them. So we have rice. There you go. We only eat this one meal a day. So
we should mention that.
We only eat one meal a day.
We don't eat 3 of these a day.
No, this is our one meal. We fast. It. We do intermittent fasting. This is our one meal.
Yeah. So, smash that like button.
Yeah, and don't forget to look down below and follow the link. You can get all these recipes, print them out, go get a shopping list, go to your supermarket, get all the spices and make it yourself.
Yeah, what are you doing with your life?